Ja, hallo, hier ist Michael Adams für Stock-Telegraph. Sie sehen an meinen Augen, ich bin irgendwie, es ist der vierte Tag. Ja, Mittwoch jedenfalls, der PDEC. Ich bin etwas geschafft und habe es aber trotzdem noch geschafft. Sie hatten mich ja gebeten, nochmal bei Monument nachzufragen. Es gibt sehr, sehr viel Diskussion, ja, und es scheint halt leider immer noch so zu sein, dass man mit der Öffentlichkeitsarbeit von Monument nicht ganz zufrieden ist, von der Aktionärsseite, jedenfalls teilweise, so kommt das bei mir an. Und ja, da versuchen wir jetzt Abhilfe zu schaffen. Ich habe, wie gesagt, jetzt hier Ihre Fragen, ich lese die auch vor und dann schauen wir mal, ob der Robert da uns anständige Antworten geben kann. So first of all, thanks for taking the time to talk to me. We did the last interview at PDEC last year, so kind of it's our first anniversary, I guess. And I did, I'm not sure if you know, I did a long interview with Wolfgang at the Edelmetallmesse in Munich in German language, talking about Monument. The reason is still that I get a lot of questions, from my subscribers, and some of them are not really satisfied still. So I think it's a good way that we address these questions and that you can directly talk to your shareholders, right?
Sure, that's very good.
Okay, perfect. So the first question would be, and actually I don't know that, but on Lansing there was a gold theft in 2012.
Yes.
Yeah, what happened since then?
Nothing has happened. We reported that to the police, of course. We beefed up security, and we caught 7 people that had been involved in this, like a ring, where they cooperate, and that's very, very hard when you've got some sort of a conspiracy like that. It's very hard. One person you can catch. 7 people where they all cover each other's tracks, it was very hard. So the police were not able to get a conviction, and so we lost that metal. We're not even sure how much metal, but by discovering that event, and that was reported to us internally, we were able to close the gaps that we found, and it doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, so that's the most important. Yeah, of course it's always sad, but there's nothing you can do about it, right? It's the job of the police, so okay. Next question would be, there's a company by the name of Veris Gold, where you used to be CEO?
Yes.
Okay, and this shareholder says that this company, Veris Gold, still owes Monument $6 million. Is that right? And if so, what's going to happen?
Yes, that is correct. Veris went into administration, and so there is nothing that we can do, and nothing the other creditors can do. It went into administration about 3 years after I left. I actually got it into production. It was shut down, and it went for about 3 years, but then it got into more difficulties, and so all of the creditors suffered, including Monument. How I came to step into that project is we had common directors in Monument and in Veris, and they wanted me to go and turn that around, which I did, but I can't do anything about the company going into administration.
No, of course. And but this other company still has a good project. That's what this it's called the Keats River Project. Is that right? Does the company still own that? But you can't access it, right? Because it's
we can't access that. Yeah, the assets were bought. The assets were sold by a secured creditor, and for a very, very low price. The company owed hundreds of millions of dollars,
right.
And the creditor, the secured creditor, bought that company for under 100 million.
Okay. So, and this is something which I think it's kind of the basic thing behind all this shareholder complaints, is that yes, things went not in a good way for Monument, but most of the time, as I get, it's not really your fault, right? It's the market, it's other environment. It's not your fault that somebody comes onto your project and steals your gold, right? And that the police can't get them. And same with this other company. But on the other hand, I understand that shareholders don't like that, right? As you do too. Okay.
Yeah, we don't like it either.
I can imagine. Okay. So. The next question would be about Mangapur, and the shareholders quoting that you have 110,000 drilling meters and 1,800 samples in the lab. Is that right?
We have done lots of drilling, and we have many samples. Today, I can't tell you how many are in the lab,
okay, yeah, sure.
But they're all processed, so we have the data.
Okay,
yeah.
Because he's criticizing that there's not enough updates on these samples.
Those samples are all done, but the data is, and everything on that project is on hold because we've put on care and maintenance. If you know, the shareholders haven't noticed that the copper prices and all the metal prices have gone down, I'm sorry for that, but that's obviously the reason, and many companies have got projects like that in that category. I mean, when we bought that project, iron ore was $180 a tonne and climbing. I don't have to tell the market what it is today. Copper was well over $7,000 a tonne. Today it's 4,000 or less. So these things affect us, and it doesn't make any sense for shareholders or the company to put projects like that into production when you know that you're going to suffer in terms of a profit margin.
I agree, and a lot of the questions I got, and I'm cutting some of them out, are about why isn't that going forward? Why you said something like 3 years ago that this and this is going to happen, but it didn't happen, And again, I totally understand your situation, but I'm of course more familiar with how mining deals are working out than maybe some of the subscribers. And I understand that some of the shareholders don't like it, but that's just the facts, right? You can't fight the markets.
We can't fight the market, and we have to go and we have to live with that market. So we've got to, I think we call it, we have to cut our cloth accordingly and move with the times.
Right. Is there any update on the Intec top copper technology?
No, there's no update on copper Intec as such.
Okay.
But quietly behind the scenes, we are intending to work on copper with Intec, but we want to finish the gold side of it first. That's more important. Gold is a much more important and valuable metal right now, so that's our focus. We've done all the bench work. We've done the first runs of pilot work. We're going to do another run of pilot work that's changing the parameters so that we know under all sorts of conditions that Intec will work for us, and then we can treat the sulfide gold, and that makes a long LOM, life of mine, for us. And we expect when we bring out a 43-101 this year, we've got an internal one, but it's got to be published properly. We expect that will show that we've got 5+ years life still at Selancing.
Okay. And what's the timeline for this update for the 43-101?
We've put out news that says that'll be done by June.
Okay, good. So some news flow comes out of the company and hopefully makes the shareholders happy. Okay, great.
Yes. Well, it should make the shareholders happy because that project, we own it 100%. Everything is paid for, and that's a good situation to be in, to show that we've got more life there. We can keep making surplus cash and profits out of it.
Right. And now let's switch to right now, as you said, gold is doing way better than copper. So what are the plans for, you have 2 gold projects, and what are the plans for those 2 projects in 2016 and 2017?
Well, we've just talked about Selancing, so I think we've provided information about that. The second gold project is the Murchison project. We bought that from the administrator. Again, it was a project in trouble at that time. And we've been quietly sorting that out, which was requiring a lot of work. Projects generally don't go into administration unless there's something wrong with them. Right. So we're a turnaround team. We fix those things, and we're nearly there. So we intend to produce gold from that probably this calendar year. Oh, okay. And we have got 540,000 ounces there. They're chalk compliant. And we're trying to convert that with drilling and work to 43-101 standard. We have done some of the resource, and we've filed a 43-101 on CEDAR. That's available for the public to see. And the next step is to let a contract for installing a modified crushing circuit at the front end of that plant so that we can selectively mine from the pit both low grade, which will go through the crusher and go to the heap leach, and we're yet to construct the heap leach part of the project, and the high grade will go to the mill, which is already there. We've overhauled that mill and it's ready to press the button. We in fact do turn that mill about once a week.
You have to just keep it.
We have to keep all the oil circulated so that bearings don't go flat and various things like that. And people in the business understand that.
Okay. And what are the all-in sustaining costs on gold?
We haven't finished that yet, but we expect that we would make a reasonably good margin, particularly
at 1,200 or
at 1,100. We can make good money, and that project or any project in Australia in gold will be affected quite highly by the fluctuation in currency exchange.
Right.
The reason, I mean, there's about a $500 or $600 margin there, which is pretty healthy. Everyone's happy about that, but if the currencies change or fluctuate wildly like they have done, that can change. It can increase or it can decrease. Again, it's the market, and you don't know that.
Is there any consideration of doing like a currency hedge?
We tend to stay out of that. The board has said to us long since, we are not in the gambling business, given that we're in the mining industry. We have enough risk, because those positions can go against you.
Right.
And you can look at past experience like Barrick. They had to go to the market, raise $5 billion to buy themselves out of a hedge position.
Okay.
Right? At the time they did it, they were considered to be smart. At the time they had to buy the book back, they were considered to not be so smart. So the market changes its mind overnight. When mining companies commit to those sort of contracts, you can't change your mind.
Okay. And actually the last question now is, around the Lansing project, there's a couple of other land blocks available. That's what this shareholder says. So is that true? And are there any plans to acquire some of them?
Yes, there are. And we've put news out in the market about that. We will be acquiring more land. We expect to have that done around June this year. And so we'll be mining off of that land. We have agreement with some local farmers. We have agreement with the government, that both provincial or state and federal, and that will be giving us more feed for the plant. So that's where our 5+ years additional life comes from those new resources and from the sulphide material, because Intech will be able to treat that sulphide material.
Okay, that's it with the questions. So thank you very much for openly answering them again, and good luck for this year.
Thank you very much.